Welcome to Practical Home Projects. So this is just an old flower box that we had built a couple years ago, and honestly we hadn't gotten around to filling it up with anything. And I noticed there were these little piles of sawdust below it, and I was curious to know what those were. And then doing a little bit of research, figured out that they were carpenter bees. And actually, if you look at the bottom of this box, you'll see that there's 1, 2, 3 holes drilled in it. And what they do is they kind of make their hole directly in, and then they go sideways, and they sort of make their little cavities as they go along. Now, in the grand scheme of things, carpenter bees are not as bad as carpenter ants or termites, in that they do not cause an infestation. Here's a little volunteer guy right here, probably looking for his home. So if it was just going to be the flower box, I wouldn't really have a problem with it, but we've actually noticed them starting to make holes in our deck and the fascia of our house as well. They are pollinators, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not that great of a pollinator compared to some of the other insects that we have around here. So I think what our solution today is going to be is to build a bee trap, which will hopefully catch them as they're making these homes, and then unfortunately have to kill them. So let's go ahead and get started looking at that. So these are just 3/4 inch boards. You can see I had a bunch of pallet pieces. They're cracked, they're chipped. This really isn't good for building anything you want to do structurally, but I think for, you know, a bee trap it's pretty good. And these are 2x6s, and they're pressure treated, so I'm going to put this on the top and the bottom. So let me kind of go what these pieces are. So rather than just doing one board wide, I thought that would make the inside a little shallow, and that might be too big of a cavity, and it might make it possible for the bees to get out. So I'm actually got extra pieces so I can double wall it. So we'll go kind of like that. So now the walls are pretty thick, but there's still about a 1.5 by 1.5 chamber right down the middle for them to get to the bottom. So then this is going to go on top, and then for the bottom piece, I have this block of wood pretty much cut to size. There's a 3/4 inch hole drilled right through the middle, and then I've got a soda cap and the accompanying bottle that I'm going to fit in there, and I've drilled a 1¼ inch hole to perfectly nest that inside. So this will be attached, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes in the sides at a 45-degree angle going up and in. So the reason I did 2 boards is so that now we're going to have like a 2.5–3 inch wide long channel for them to travel. They'll get inside, they'll see that it's totally dark. There won't be like a nice place for them to put their eggs. So then they'll try to get out, and what they do is they look for light. So the biggest entrance is going to be from the bottom. So hopefully they will be attracted to go back down the way, or back down into this bottle, at which point they'll see that it's light, they'll get stuck, and then they'll stay there forever until I choose to empty it. So now let me assemble this whole thing real quick. I'll drill these holes. I chose 25/64 because I looked at the holes they made, and this seems to be exactly the right size, so hopefully they'll feel right at home. And then we'll see what else we need to do. So now we're right back where we started. I got my flower boxes right here with the holes in them, and we're putting this new bee trap right here in that same location to hopefully attract them. So you see I've got everything assembled. It works pretty much as planned. There was a little bit of a gap at the top, and I didn't want light to come in, so I went ahead and caulked that up, and then I just tied it up so it's hanging here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this area so that they can't find their old homes, and then probably take some of that old sawdust and kind of sprinkle it around so that the pheromones kind of get associated with this new home. And then you'll see the bottle is obviously a screw one, so I can remove it as they get stuck. I'm going to have it filled with just a little bit of water and a couple drops of soap, so that when they hit the surface, they won't be able to swim and they'll sink to the bottom. So that's our project. I hope you guys enjoyed all that we had to show you today. If you really enjoyed what you saw, you can like and subscribe, and then we'll try to get you more stuff out in the future. Thanks, and have a good one.